Hey there, it is Adam from the Eamon Carter Museum of American Art here for Cooped Up with the Carter Kitchen Edition. You can see we're in our kitchen today and we're going to be making some oatmeal topped with nuts because today we are looking at D. Scott Evans' free sample Try One. It's a still life painting that features nuts. Now, D. Scott Evans was actually born David Scott Evans Jr. in Indiana. And he was an art student, he became an art teacher, he studied in both the United States and France, and was a really famous portrait painter at the time. However, this is not a portrait, this is what we would call a trompe-l'oeil still life painting. So still life is a painting with objects in it as the main subject, but trompe-l'oeil is a French term which means fools the eye. And so it's meant to trick the viewer into thinking that what they're looking at is actually real and make them kind of second guess whether they're looking at a painting or real objects. So this is one that you can look at on Google Arts and Culture, which is a website that Google has that features certain artworks from our collection and other collections around the world, and you can zoom in super close to look at the details. And I would encourage you to do that because there's some interesting details in this painting. Not just the objects like the nuts and the glass that's covering those nuts, but the wood that's surrounding it is all painted. Okay, this would have been a canvas where he painted all those little details to make this look like a real object. This painting is not signed David Scott Evans Jr. or signed D. Scott Evans either. It's signed S.S. David. Now, the artist would sign his paintings with all sorts of different, what we call pseudonyms or pen names. He would sometimes sign them D.S. Evans, D. Scott Evans, Scott David, Stanley S. David, or like I said in this case, S.S. David. Now, there's speculation that maybe he did that because he was a famous portrait painter and didn't want these artworks to kind of get criticized alongside his portraits. People kind of looked at these types of paintings as not as serious maybe as like his portrait paintings. So it was kind of an interesting little fact that you can look at, and you can zoom in on that Google Arts and Culture and see where he signed it. You can also zoom in and see the little note that's telling the viewer free sample try one, as if it was tricking the person to actually reach in and try and grab one of these almonds out of the picture. Alright, I've got my son Asher here with me now, and we are going to make our oatmeal like I said, and we're going to top it with either almonds, or we've got walnuts or pecans and lots of other toppings that we like to put on our oatmeal. That's one of your favorite breakfasts, right?
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to get started right away. Alright, so we've got everything that we need together here to make the oatmeal part. Asher, do you want to tell them what all they need to get?
So we need oats, cinnamon,
Salt.
Whoops. Maple syrup, milk, water, measuring cup, and measuring spoons.
Right, and we're using quick oats today. We like to use those because they don't take nearly as long to cook, but they're still really good. Now, when I was growing up, oatmeal came in a little packet. Okay, this is gonna taste much better. If you've never made homemade oatmeal, this one's gonna taste way better than what came in the packet. Alright, so we're gonna start cooking the oatmeal. We need to know how many people we're going to cook for. So we're today making oatmeal for 4. So for each person, we usually use a half cup of oats. You ready to put in a half cup for everybody? So how many cups total are we gonna have then?
2.
2 cups. So Asher's scooping up half cup of oats at a time. We use the same amount of water and milk. I like to put milk in there too. You can also use almond milk. Since we've been looking at an artwork with almonds in it, you could go plant-based with your milk if you want. So we're throwing 2 cups of water and 2 cups of milk in there with it. And I'll go ahead at this point and turn on the heat to maybe like medium high. Then, Asher, you want to put in a pinch of salt? Just gonna throw a pinch of salt in there. Maybe one more pinch. Got little fingers. Alright. And then, again, for each person, so we got 4 people, I like to put in a half tablespoon of maple syrup for each person. So we're gonna put in how many?
2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons, but that's a half tablespoon, so we're going 4 of those. Ready? All right, and now you want to sprinkle in some cinnamon?
All of it.
Yeah, that'd probably be good. And then we're going to get a spoon and stir it up. And then we're just gonna let this heat up. It'll start to sort of lightly bubble and boil. And you just wanna kind of keep it stirred and cooking, usually for a minute or 2, until that oatmeal starts to get nice and thick. Okay, so now we can see this oatmeal is getting nice and thick and bubbly. Almost ready. And we'll put it in our bowls. Alright, the oatmeal is finished cooking and we've got it divvied up into our bowls. So now's the fun part, the toppings. And this is where our nuts come into the game, okay? We've got our almonds, we've got pecans, which is my personal favorite. We've also got some other toppings that we like to put on ours, like raisins, and then Asher's personal favorite. What do we got down on the end, buddy?
Chocolate chips.
Chocolate chips. So let's load up our bowls with what we want, and then we're ready for our oatmeal. And here's a free sample. Try one.